Hello, my name is Emily Collins from Dublin, Ireland, and last year I took part in the What Are You Talking About course, a course looking at how to tell traditional folk tales that may contain problematic material for modern audiences. The tale I ended up working on was the Irish legend of Deirdre of the Sorrows. Deirdre of the Sorrows is one of the most well-known Irish legends and is one of the Reis Skealta, or backstories, for the Epic of the Táin. The story gives background as to why Fergus, former King of Ulster, and his followers went into self-imposed exile and allied themselves with Queen Maeve of Connaught, providing her with strength of arms as well as valuable information about their former homeland. It also gives a character depiction of King Conor, or King Cahor, current King of Ulster, and the reasons why he is a bad king. He's proud, he's treacherous, and he's prone to giving ill judgments. Despite being a story about betrayal, corrupt leadership, kidnap, rape, and murder, Deirdre of the Sorrows is often included in collections of Irish myths aimed at children. Though I had known the tale of Deirdre of the Sorrows for many years, I had never really told it. It wasn't part of my repertoire. I'd never really felt comfortable with it. And part of this was to do with how it had been presented to me. It had been presented to me in a very sanitized, in fact, almost sweet and highly romanticized format. What made me want to tackle it, though, was anger. The anger I felt when I heard a fellow storyteller describe the ending as a beautiful suicide. So during the course, I decided to use my anger and try to channel it into finding a version of the story that I could tell and that rang true to me and would hopefully ring true to an audience. There are multiple retellings of the story of Deirdre of the Sorrows, or as it's also known, the tragic death of the sons of Uisneach. And rather than pick one of them, I decided to borrow from multiple versions simultaneously, contrasting between different versions of events, including the sweet versions I had first been presented with and found so distasteful. Many of the stories in the Ulster cycle, of which Deirdre of the Sorrows and the Táin Bó Cúailnge are part of, weave in and out of each other, not unlike an example of Celtic knotwork found in illuminated manuscripts. Small sections form a pattern, but they're part of a larger piece, and it becomes difficult to unravel a single thread and find where it starts. Similarly, I struggled to find where the story of Deirdre started. Did it start with the birth of Deirdre, with the scream that came from inside her mother's body, with the sons of Uisneach, with how King Conor came to the throne? Rather than try to find the beginning, I started in the middle. I started with the meeting of Deirdre and Naoise. There's an interesting colour motif that comes up in the story at this point. White, black, and red. White of snow, black of the raven's wing, and the red of blood. For anyone familiar with fairy tales, these three colours will probably conjure an image of Snow White. And just as Snow White was wished into being when her mother saw blood on snow by the feather of a raven, there is a character in the story of Deirdre of the Sorrows who's brought forth from a wish made at the sight of these three colours. But it's not the titular Deirdre, who's claimed to be the most beautiful woman in the world. The one with skin as white as snow, hair as black as a raven's wing, and lips as red as blood, is in fact Naoise. Deirdre is the one who conjures him, either in a dream of love or in a wish for escape. Black, white, and red come up again later in the story, when Deirdre has a prophetic dream. In her dream, she sees ravens flying towards her. In their mouth is honey, but as they come closer, she sees the honey in their mouths turn to blood. When working on the tale at this point, at this image of the three birds flying, I found another story began to creep into the narrative. A story of the Morrigan, the battle goddess, the goddess of sovereignty, the goddess of poetry, the Ulster goddess who is often represented as a raven. This story ended up becoming part of the tale I was trying to weave, and looping all the way back to the beginning of Deirdre's narrative, to where she screams from inside her mother's womb before she is born. It became part of the pattern, another of the twists, another of the knots. I've not yet finished working on the story of Deirdre. I haven't followed the thread all the way to the end, but I'm still working on it. My anger is still there, but it has a place in the pattern now. And I'm happy to keep weaving away at it.